People say I ain't no good, and I'm crazy as a loon. Cause I shave my head in the morning, pick guitar in the afternoon. Just like old Chief and Charlie, I like to lay around in the shade. Well, I ain't got no money, but you better believe I got it made. Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this bald-headed country boy alone.
What's up, folks? Thank y'all for tuning into the Josh Terry podcast. Let's go ahead and tell y'all, sorry I didn't put out a lot of episodes last week or past 2 weeks. Had a lot of shit going on. And just decided just to fucking chill. I know I did the bare minimum, but we're going into the month of April with a slew of shows here in Georgia, Alabama, and Nashville. But we're going to start the month off with one of my buddies. He, for the longest time, has ran a gym in Eastman and has got kind of, well, fucked, to be honest with you. And when he was telling me about this last week, as much as this dude has helped his community, helped kids, helped just so many people not only feel better about themselves, but taught them a lot of life lessons, I was like, you know what? Eastman's not going to fuck you and me not do something. But it's probably the bare minimum I could do is have you on. But Mr. Jimmy Barnett, Coach Jimmy, what's up, brother?
Man, I appreciate it. This ain't the bare minimum. You're putting the word out there. You're actually helping me. I'm one of those people that I think things through on the fly, and then I get really excited about new stuff. And maybe it's ADHD, maybe it's just that's how my brain works, is I need to be kicked in the ass a little bit to get out of my comfort zone. I don't know. I do know that I'm in a position to where if you'd have talked to me 2 weeks ago when all this happened, I would have come on here and just been like, these guys, and like I would have probably acted out of character a little bit due to being emotional and angry and stuff. But the thing is like today and yesterday, I've made progress in finding a new place. So many people rallied behind us to kind of help us find a new spot. And there was none of the negative energy behind, like it felt so negative and bad, but then all of a sudden here we are, like just a couple of weeks later after hearing me find this or this happening to me, and I'm already back in a more positive place. Yeah. I invited everybody to my pity party. I moped for like a couple of days, and now it's like, all right, what can I do to make sure that I'm in the best position and I'm where I need to be to influence and help the most people? Kids are they're just a part of my business. They're not the whole business, but they are the future of our country. They're the future of everything. And if they're not like getting in shape, if they're sitting on the fucking couch playing screens and stuff like that, they're being influenced by politics. They're being influenced by social media. There's not any real men or real people around to help these kids get off the couch and get motivated to try to do more, to try to get out and do stuff. And I feel like that's my calling. My calling is to draw out.
Well,
that's my gift.
I think we talked about it like last time you was on the show, but like it's obvious, like you're a leader of men, like and a maker of men. So like, and I'm not just talking about boys, by the way, men and women. But dude, it's obvious that what you're trying to teach is more than just jiu-jitsu and MMA and all that kind of stuff. You've got a way about you that makes you want to run through a wall for you, but in the right way. And like that, and what you've done for so many kids, adults, whatever, is you gave them a confidence that they didn't have till they got to you. And that's why, like, the second you told me about this shit, I was like, fuck. And it's okay. Everybody throws a fucking pity party. You got to let that shit out.
Bro, I'm so angry still. I told them when they come to me. So
tell them what happened first.
All right, yeah. So let the world know kind of what happened. I was told It's been like 3 weeks now.
Since you reached out to me, probably.
It's been 3 weeks. I messaged you like the day after it happened. So my building is rented. I rent it from the city. And originally I was supposed to buy the building. I had an agreement with 3 of the council members. And just to kind of put that out, I'm not going to sue or anything like that. So out of all the people that are advising me to sue and go the legal route, I don't want that drama. I don't want that negative. I don't even want that. I just want a building to teach martial arts in.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go that route. I probably should, realistically. I should probably like push to.
I think they should be held accountable for what they did to you, especially with the short notice. But suing, first off, it's going to take up way too much of your time. It's going to get this. It's going to take away the good you've done there if you cause too much of a fuss there.
That part, it's like everybody's telling me like I've got $100,000 of my own money into this building. Like I didn't have anything in writing because it was the city.
Yeah.
It's the city of Eastman. And it was like I trusted the board members that I was talking to, and a hard lesson learned. Hard fucking lesson learned is like everything has to be in writing. Everything has to be like every conversation, everything is like, no, if they're just talking. And it's like, learn right out of the gate, like, hey, let's put this in writing, because the first thing that happened, the building was going to be torn down and turned into a parking lot. When you walk into the building, if you guys want to see what the building looked like, go to my TikTok. It's Coach Jimmy _Tech. It's TikTok. There's a before and after video of what this place looked like. You could literally see through the walls. Like it's block walls and you could see light coming through the walls. It cost me, it's $100 a pound for hydraulic cement. And I had to take hydraulic cement, drill these holes into the walls, and fill up each block at the base, because the building is like a foot below the ground level outside. Mm-hmm. So every time it rained, it would fill the building up with like 2 inches of water, because the drains run up against the edge of the building and then flow around the front from all of the surrounding buildings. It runs up against that building. So all of the water in the area run to the building, would leak through the walls and fill the mat room up with water. And before I even moved into it, I had to fix that problem.
Yeah.
So the agreement that we come to, I went in, I looked at the building. They said the building's worth $15,000. I said, I would like to buy this building. 3 city councilmen stood there and said, the city cannot outright sell a building. We have to make sure it improves the city of Eastman. You need to run a successful business out of this building before we can sell it to you. But if you can fix it up and run a successful business out of it from 6 months to a year, we'll sell it to you. I said, cool. How much are y'all going to sell it to me for if I invest money into this? They said, we'll sell it to you for what it's worth right now, $15,000, which is basically what the spot was worth.
Yeah.
Not the building. It was what
Just
the
the
spot.
lot.
Just the lot, because the building was trash. So I said, okay. I took them at their word. So now here it is. I pay my first month rent. My rent is due. This is very important to the story. My rent is due just like your water bill. You pay a month afterward. So we move in. My next month's rent isn't due yet.
Yeah.
It's not due until the 15th of the following month, right?
Yeah.
So April is due in May.
Yeah.
Like March, April, May. Yeah. April's due in May.
I'm glad you fucking did that, because I was sitting there trying to think my hardest what next month
Yeah.
is.
And then, May is due in June. And it's been that way since I've been there. I've been there almost 10 years. I've had the building almost 10 years. I've been open to the public in August to be 9. So, but anyway, I've been paying that way. Well, me being me, like today, I've been riding around for an hour and a half because I didn't want to be late to your show.
Yeah.
So I'm either really early or really fucking late. There's no in between. There's no in between with me, and I've been that way my whole life.
I'm always fucking late, bro. I've never on time for shit.
I've been that way my entire life, dude. So, what do we start doing? We start paying every month before it's due. Well, not been late. All of a sudden, 6 months to a year comes by. It's almost a year. We come by. It's been a year, right? Hey, I'm ready to buy the building. You know what the city tells me?
What?
Oh, the city don't work like that. We can't outright sell buildings. We have to bid them out. So let us get an appraisal on the building. So now I've fixed all the leaks, fixed all the damn wiring that they had hanging down, got brand new lights in the place. I did not fix the ceiling yet because the roof still leaked. My friend helped me fix the roof, patch it, not fix it because it never really got fixed. Patch it enough that it wasn't leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
But my friend helped me do that. But they come in and appraise the building. It's now worth $85,000.
Yeah.
And they said, we got to bid it out. If we're going to sell it, we got to bid it out to the public. I said, well, what was all this talk about running a successful business? Why did I have to run a successful business if you're just going to bid it out to anybody that wants it? This doesn't make any sense. And they was like, well, the rules have changed. And I was like, y'all lied to me. You outright lied to me. So now I'm starting to feel like angry and mad about it. And they was like, well, we'll get the bidding price. I don't want to bid it out. I'll just continue renting it from you because if I let y'all go to bid, somebody's going to look at it and say the building's worth $80,000. They'll bid up to $80,000. I've already invested $48,000 of my own money into this building. If I pay more than that, I'm paying twice. I'm paying for the building twice.
Yeah.
I'm paying for the work that I did, the money that I invested, and this. And they said, oh, well, we have ways around that. If we just make it look like we bid it out, we can still choose who we want to give the building to. I didn't trust them enough to do that, for one.
What you probably should have done in that situation is you should have said, okay, so you own the property. You should have been like, that's fine. If it's worth 85, that's cool. Here's every receipt and every account of my hours that I put into repairing this building. Now, I'll buy it from you for 85, but let's subtract what I've put into it from 85.
It's funny you should say that. So they come at me like that. And I was like, with the whole, oh, you got to bid it out. And I was like, I don't want to bid it out. Because then if I go up against somebody and they beat me, now I'm out all the money I invested and I don't have anywhere to put my school. I'll just continue to rent it from you. I said, why don't y'all just pay me back for the money that I've invested into the place and knock it off the rent? That was what we said we would do. They said, well, bring us all the receipts of stuff you do. Well, you know, my labor, they said they're not going to pay me right out of the gate. We're not going to pay you for your labor.
Yeah.
Now, I had two guys that own construction companies. This is what they do for a living, helping me. And it's like, I could have easily asked them to write me. I still can. Yeah. Ask them to write me receipts for them working and doing all the stuff. And it's like, you know, people are always behind on their paperwork. You know, I could ask them to hand me.
I'll tell you what the problem it would be with it, though, is they're going to say, that's fine, but this isn't what we would have paid a laborer. We would have found somebody that would have worked. If you were going to work $30 an hour, they would have said, well, we wouldn't have done that. We'd have hired somebody at $20 an hour.
And then that's what comes down to, well, y'all should have done that, and it's he said, she said. That was because I got a consultation from a lawyer, right? There's two things that I have really strong standing on. The conversations are hearsay. Like, it doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what I say. Even my rent being there is not enforceable. Like, they technically would have to pay me back all of my rent if I push the issue. Like, that's not enforceable because there's no written agreement.
Why is it not enforceable? Because you don't have an actual lease?
We don't have a lease. We don't have anything. And then I was in the building. I was there, right, running the school. But it would, you know, they could say, well, he did the labor. They're supposed to be paying him back, this and that. I could literally add that on to the fact that they, like, a work lease, whatever. I don't understand I don't understand.
Well, isn't there though? Okay, you know how like I just feel like I know this for some reason. I can't tell you how the fuck I know this, but you know what common law marriage is, right?
Yes.
Common law is what you live together 5 years by legal
Yes.
aspects. You're married, all your shits and everything together.
I've
Isn't
heard
there-
that. I don't know how
yeah,
true it
I
is.
think it's 5 years. If you live with somebody for 5 years, have the same address, loans and shit together, by law standards, you're legally married.
Right.
Or whatever, like in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
Common law marriage is a thing. I think there's a common law ownership though. It's same, and the reason I know this now is if you leave a piece of property at my house, and I notify you, like a car or some shit. I think this happens.
Run it in a paper for 30 days.
Yeah, like if it's the 30 to 90 days or whatever. If they don't come get it, it's yours. It's legally yours. I feel like there's got to be some precedent to where, hey, I've done all this for 9 fucking years. Well, I've been paying y'all on time. Like this is common law ownership or some shit.
Yeah, because there's no lease.
Yeah.
And so that's what the that's
But there's
what
no marriage license.
so they think that helps them as the landlord, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, in Georgia, they have like these squatter rights
Yeah.
and stuff like that are unreal. They're trying to change that right now. Like if I wanted to push the issue, I could draw this thing out and make them come up with all this evidence and come up with all this stuff and try to get me out. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But when I talked to them about it, it was like, nah, you could do construction a lease, like basically saying you owe me for all of this work done because I have picture proof of what everything looked like before I got there. I have picture proof of construction companies helping me fix all of this stuff. I really don't. I didn't even want to get this far into the issues because I don't care as long as I find me a new place. Here's what bothered me the most. They went and had this meeting and then accused me of in the meeting of being behind on my bills.
Because you pay at the end of the month.
I pay at the end of the month. And then we went and said, what month am I missing on? And you know what they said?
What?
Oh, well, we can't tell. We don't know what months you missed. We just know that out of you're supposed to have 12 payments from you, and we only have 11. Well, we only have and this was the Taylor went over there with the banking statements. Yeah. What month's missing? Oh, we can't tell you that. Why can't you tell me that? Why can't you tell me what month is missing, right? And it was like, oh, well, we just count them up and do this. She said, okay, so how are we supposed to know what months we're behind on? Well, you haven't paid for February and March. I said, well, February, not me, her, February isn't due until the 15th. It's like, it's March 10th. February is not due. If February is not due, March isn't due.
Yeah.
But they did this whole council meeting and said we were 5 months behind. Then we went over there to talk to them and they said we were 9 months behind. It's like, which one is it? And then they come back to, well, in 2020, you didn't pay for 7 months. I said, oh, you're talking about when the city forced me to close the doors because of COVID and told me not to worry about rent until everything got worked out and us reopened? You talking about that time? Because those are the only things that I'm unaccounted for.
Yeah.
And so they went all the way back to COVID and told me I owed them money, that I was behind on this amount of time. Then Taylor told me all that because I wasn't present for that conversation. She come back and told me that because she handles all the finance. I don't write the checks.
I don't blame you.
I don't do all that. If she can do it, she can do it, right? She went over there. They told her all that. So then I was like, all right, let me talk to the city councilman and the city manager. So I called them. They walked over there right across the road. I said, first of all, if I was late, why didn't y'all walk over here and tell me? And they said, you're a grown man. You're responsible for your bills. That has nothing to do with me.
Why didn't they tell you during COVID or right after? Like, I don't get that. Like, I understand if they want to sell the property, that they should do something about it of giving you something back. You should almost be grandfathered in. You've been there so damn long. But if it was during COVID and it was an issue, why wouldn't it come up at the beginning of 2022 when everything goes back to normal? Why? I mean, if it wasn't an issue then, why is it an issue now?
And that was all of this is just that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Is when they come across the road and I said, well, we just went over there with our stuff. First of all, y'all haven't kept books at all. Y'all are just going through and counting payments. So you're telling me that y'all are just counting your, like, how people labeled it at your bank to decide whether we paid you or not?
Yeah.
It's like y'all didn't even keep books, first of all. Second of all, I'm not late at all. And y'all did all this to me, and they said it's not personal. This isn't personal. I said it's not personal to you because you get to go sit behind your cushy desk.
Yeah.
Me, this is all of my life savings have been put into this place. Do you think I make a ton of money teaching martial arts to kids? Bro, I could continue working for the environmental agencies, making twice what I make.
Yeah.
Like literally quit a $200,000 a year job to coach kids martial arts. Yeah. Like I literally walked out and to start coaching kids because this is my dream. And not just kids, I coach adults too. Yeah. And I actually prefer coaching adult or teenage men. That's what I prefer. But I love, originally I wasn't even going to coach kids. And then I got into it, and now I realize, like, they need it just as much as
Well, if it makes money, it makes sense. But also, too, if you're doing something good for the community, like working with children, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. And, dude, so I was standing there talking to them. Then the truth come out. They said, it makes more sense for us to turn this into the police station than it does to do a build-out on another building. I said, y'all have 13 buildings, bro. Why can't you make one of them? This one's in the best shape. That was their exact words. This one
should have recorded the fuck out of that conversation.
And I said, why do you think that is? Because I upkeep the building. The only thing they done to the building in the 9 years that I was there is put a metal roof on it. That's it. That's the only thing they done since I've been there. I done everything else. And the city manager there, he pushed to have the roof put on.
Yeah.
But now I see that it wasn't for me. He got them to put the metal roof on the building so that they could use the building themselves later.
Well, what they probably did, knowing sneaky ass small town folks, and I don't know who the fuck the city manager is. I might know him. If I know you, I'm sorry. But if they're taking rent payments from you and they don't have a lease, I wonder where that money was actually going then.
Dude,
I wonder if you actually paid for your roof and you don't know it.
Dude, this was another thing that the ladies up front,
yeah,
1,000,000% still money. 100% still money.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind, and I'll say it 1,000 times over. One of them's kin to me, and she's an amazing lady. I love her. I don't think she's a part of that part of it.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that they take money because like I said, I bouncing around with my story here, but I was paying them money for rent, right? Paying them cash, boom, 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 boom.
Oh fuck, you paid them in cash.
The first little while, they give you a receipt off of one of those like 1950s calculators.
Yeah.
It's like not even a carbon copy. It's like this white piece
I know
of
what
paper.
you're talking about.
Dude, after 30 days, I kept all those in a file because I was going to use them to file my taxes. Right?
Yeah.
They turn white. Like the whatever goes on them.
Yeah.
There's not even any proof that you paid after like 2 months because there's no fucking
there's no ink.
There's no ink or whatever. It's like the thing. I don't know how it works, but they always turn white. So they come at me and told me that I missed payments. It was like my first 2 years there, right?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I didn't. I got receipts. I go grab the folder that was like, this is blank paper. I'm like, well, this is the receipts that y'all gave me. And they were like, well, you got anything else? I was like, this is all y'all give me. From that day forward, I started writing checks because I ended up having to pay them for months that I had already paid them for.
Yeah.
And they were saying they were missing. because a lady pocketed the money and didn't document it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just saying this because did you grow up in Eastman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I moved here in 8th grade.
Okay, so I've been there my whole life. I was going to tell you, I love, for certain reasons, why I'm from there, but there's been some shady shit forever between rigging elections, between sheriffs becoming sheriff that wasn't supposed to. Like, Eastman's kind of fucking shady. They've always been shady.
Yeah, like didn't it? I don't know how true this is, but didn't it like make the second most corrupt city in Georgia or something? Like that?
There's documentaries about, and I cannot remember what it is. There's one where a big time newspaper or journalist or some fucking body come down and covered a election back in the 90s. And I want to say it was for sheriff, and hopefully everybody that was involved with this is fucking gone by now and don't give a fuck. But I've heard it my whole life, and I know that there's like a lot of mention with that shit to where people that was dead was voting, dude. Like, it's not, there's shadiness all the way around in there. Hell, I'm shady as fuck, and I came from there. And half the reason is because I'm fucking from Eastman.
Bro, they
normalized
just a
that
few
shit.
years ago, all the big banks was loaning money on government owned land, and it was all the banks, but one guy took the fall for it.
Yeah.
And then all the banks had to shift people around and move their jobs to different things, like the people that was in charge, to avoid backlash from it.
Well, that's like where we're from is the good old boy system. And like there's a lot of good things about the good old boy system. School system's usually half-assed done right. The crime is usually down where we're from because people fuck around and find out where we're from. And I like some of that stuff, but there's a lot of people that's just about them where we're from, and it's very fucking easy to see them a lot of the times. And I would imagine that this right here, I don't even think that it probably ends up becoming, if it is a police station, it's whatever, but I bet somebody pockets some money somewhere and saves some, and you're the fall guy. But that's also too, like, I understand like you not wanting to make a bigger deal out of it, like with an attorney, but they'd have to give me my money back for me not to make it a huge fucking deal.
So, yeah, that was the other side of that thing is like we now I got accused early on.
Yeah.
So then we started writing checks to keep receipts because then our bank keeps a check receipt for that. And we started doing that. So we have proof that we paid all of our stuff, like when it was due, actually a month ahead of time, because that's, like I said, I'm either really, really early or I'm late, period. And that's just how I've been my whole life. But then they was like, oh, this is the nicest one, this and that. I was like, why do you think that is with the building? Why do you think that it's the nicest one? Because I've spent my entire savings fixing this place and keeping it going and doing all that. And I was so fucking angry. But, backtrack.
Yeah.
Your idea. Let's knock it off the rent. Let's do that. So that's what I decided to do. They gave me all of the receipts back and said the only thing they were willing to pay back for was the AC that I installed. So they gave me $8,000 for the AC.
Okay.
I haven't received a dime for any of the other things. Fixing the ceiling. That's a $20,000 ceiling in there. Yeah. The tile floor. The back part of that tile and like fixing the fucking the water leaks and all that stuff. Just the tile alone is like $15,000. It's like, you know how big the building is?
Oh yeah, it's fucking
2,800 square feet. It's 2,800 square feet just in the front. It's 3,500 counting the back. And there was no upstairs in the back. That was an attic. Now there's literally an upstairs room that I was using for podcasting and showering and stuff. Like all of that stuff I built. I built everything. The plumbing and stuff that's ran into the walls behind the AC for washer and dryer, like all of that stuff, everything, all of that crap I put in there. There's probably $10,000 worth of wire that was run from the front to the back. It's 150 feet worth of wire. And there's like 10 runs of 6'2" and 10'2" wire run to the back. And the LED lighting, all the crap, dude, all of it. And I done it all with the, like.
Well, I could see their argument on not wanting to pay for some of the stuff because it's not a decision that they made to do it that way. And so, like, even if it was me, like, hey, I'm not paying for this because I didn't want it to be done this way. But a roof is something that you got to have done. Plumbing, flooring, some of that stuff, you know, I should see them refunding you.
Dude, the concrete inside the building, like the floor, it was powder.
Yeah.
Like we had to recap it and stuff, the inside, because they had drove forklifts and stuff in there. It was all busted up and coming out. So we had to fix that. But the only thing I could see them not paying me back for, the only thing would be the paint.
Yeah.
Like paint's paint. And it's like, yeah, I spent money on paint, but I ain't asked them to pay me back for the paint.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even ask for that because those are my colors. But fixing the fucking plumbing, fixing the floor, the ceiling, dude, the ceiling had holes in it and was falling in. Fixing that is like that stuff. I'm not be mistaken, but at 80 feet each side, just the front, I think it's 30 by, it might be 30 by 100 in the front. But anyway, I'm not sure. It might be 30 by 80 in the front and then the other in the back. Anyway, just 80 feet. You do a pound of hydraulic cement every 6 inches at $100 a pound. How much is that?
I don't fucking do math well, so you tell me.
I don't have a fucking clue, but I know it's a lot. I spent like $30,000 like trying to seal the walls so that they didn't leak at the bottom. And there was sand in there. Like they had it was wild, dude, at like how much I did just to stop the place from filling up with water because it was below ground level.
Yeah, I just like I can almost see both sides of it. Like I said, if it's where there should be certain things that they don't pay you for because you decided to do it on your own. But also, too, if they're told you in the beginning you have to run a successful business out of here before we can do this, this, and this, you have to make it a successful business. You have to make it look like that. You have to make it look to where, hey, you can come in here and this is professional. So, like, but they would have to do that with any single business. So if it's something that you improved on that another business is never going to have to do there, then they should just do the right thing and give you your money back for that. Like even this, if they own, and I know that Eastman has several different buildings probably that city owns, I could see where if they came to you and said, hey, Jimmy, we're going to work with you because you've been a pillar of this community. You've been a coach at the high school. You've done stuff, right?
Yeah.
We need this building. But since we need this building and you've been with us for not 10 years, let's give you 90 days. And let's also help you move into your new place, and let's help improve this place for you before you get there. That seems like the logical thing to do instead of just going to you and saying, hey, you got a few weeks, you got to get the fuck out.
Dude, for me, and this is just even the emotional side of me, immediately this is what I said. I don't give a fuck about all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about the light bill stuff in the beginning. I don't care about all the stuff. I was told, you can stay here. You keep up the stuff. We'll never ask you to leave. What upsets me the most is that they made this public thing trying to make me look like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing to try to get and sway the community onto their side about making me leave.
Yeah.
If they would have just come to me and was like, Jimmy, we need this building. We'll give you 4 or 5 months to figure it out. And I would ask them, hey, what are we going to do about the stuff that I done? You know, like the ceiling that was rotted through and all that. What are we going to do about that? Can y'all give me something on that to help me get into a new place? Because I was told I don't have to go anywhere. And it's like, they've went back on so much that they said. They're the landlord. Like they could tell me kick rocks anytime they wanted. But the integrity side of it and the side of, hey, you are a pillar in the community. This is the only thing that the kids have here. You are never going anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's walk across the fucking road and talk to Jimmy and see what we can figure out if we need this building. Let's walk across the road. Way before it come to this, why are they trying to paint me as the bad guy in front of people to try to move? That's cowardly, and it's even to the point that like they're trying to paint me as this bad guy instead of just going, let's work together and let's figure it out, because they knew I was gonna be pissed about it regardless.
Well, I tell you what I would do now. The more I think about it, I got a good idea for you. I don't think it'll just take me a second to get there, but just follow me here.
All right.
I don't think you view yourself as a business there anymore. I don't think you view yourself there as a coach anymore, or MMA or whatever. If they're going to treat you that way because you didn't have a lease with them, but you did all these additions and upgrades and all this kind of stuff or whatever, view yourself as a contractor. View yourself as a contractor that improved their building over the past 9 years.
That's what the lawyer said.
And then, oh, fuck yes, I love when I'm right. View yourself as a contractor that's done all these upgrades. They don't have to pay their tenant or take care of their tenant.
That's why they have to give me the rent money back.
Yeah.
That's literally what the lawyer said.
I'm fucking genius.
That's literally what the lawyer said. The lawyer said that everything that we done to the building, there's no written agreement on either side.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of he said, she said stuff, right? And they owed me money for the work that I did, so I could use the building. I could use the building until they paid me for the money that they owed me.
Yeah.
And then there was a work lien, is what it's called, I think, that I could go after them and make them pay me for everything.
Yeah, I fucking would. I definitely would for that. Like, thinking about it like that, if they're going to be dicks to you, I'm a petty son of a bitch anyway. Like, I'm going to get mine or I'm going to cause a fucking scene.
Dude, there's literally nothing between us with all the agreements made. The only agreement that I would adhere to that would make me happy is if they sold me the building for what they originally told me they would sell me for.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, anything outside of that, they're just paying me for wasting 10 years of my life in Eastman.
Yeah. I mean, I could see how it would look to most folks like you wasted it. You wasted a lot of money. But what's going to be good about it, though, wherever you go, you're taking those kids and shit with you. You're taking a business that made Eastman look better. You're taking it somewhere. Like it's their loss all the way around.
Think about this. Probably 30% of my members come from Cochran.
Oh, no shit.
30%. Easily. 30% of my members come from Cochran. Maybe 5% come from Dublin. And the only reason these people are coming into Eastman at all and spending money at the convenience stores and going out to eat with us on Fridays like we do is because my business was in the town. And this isn't the only thing the city's doing, though. The last city meeting, everybody's pissed off because they borrowed like $2 million to build a splash pad.
Yeah.
They did all the work, the foundation for the kids. Then they decided to turn it into a wishing well, a memorial. And now the people in town and stuff can pay $100 to get names wrote on the brick.
Yeah.
They did, like, they borrowed the money, then used it for something else. And then they put all these new meters in and stuff, and now they're making everybody's water bill go from $65 if you're in town, $65 to $130. And then they're taking everybody that's outside the city that they annexed in and saying you can't have your own well, and you got to pay us for branch removal, other stuff like that. So there was like a ton of people that were pissed off because they was like, we didn't ask y'all to do any of this. We didn't tell y'all to do any of this. We didn't vote on any of this. They just decided to do it. And the reason they're doing that stuff is so they don't have to have as many employees to manage the water department. So now it's almost automated. They're getting rid of jobs. That's always been a job. And they're charging the people in the city and outside the city to do it. And then they're lying on the fire department because there's people that are pissed about this, saying that it costs the city $40,000 a month to operate outside the city limits for fires. Like, all of this stuff has come to light.
Right off the bat, wouldn't that just depend on the fires for that month? Like, there shouldn't be a set number anyway?
Yeah, but the reason they're doing that is because they get more money from the government if they can say, hey, well, we're having to help the lesser fire departments outside of the city. We're having to do this stuff. We're having to make our building a little bigger. They get more money because the city's broke.
That makes sense. So I mean, I was literally just talking to a guy about this last week. The effects of COVID and all the businesses and everything shutting down, the loans and all that kind of shit. It hasn't been a full 3 years yet, and we're starting to see the beginning effects of it, to where towns are broke, people are fucking. If you were in government or you were in like even with you, like those couple months, they're finna go back and they're fixing to try to bust everybody's ass because the effects of shutting down the economy they're coming back now.
Dude, COVID screwed me. My gym, 2019.
You have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Text me the city manager's name real fast. I don't want to say it on here. I just want to see
that's
who it
fine.
is. Yeah, I want to see who the fuck it is.
Dude, so just to put that out there like this, when you look at the effects that COVID had on me, in 2019, I had literally the best year my gym had ever had in the history of my gym, right? Then the next year, I had the second worst year that I ever had. All of the help, I got one of those loans, one of those like PPE or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I got one of those loans. It floated my bills for 2 months. Then I had a fucking house fire in the middle of COVID. I had a fucking house fire while my gym was closed for 7 months. Like my only source of income. And then I lost everything. The insurance that I had, the renter's insurance that I had, didn't pay us a dime because when we moved into the place, I hadn't changed the address from the previous address. So we didn't get anything back. The community come together and helped us raise a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Just so that we could survive. Just so we could do stuff. I was living off credit cards. I took out a personal loan to float bills. Then I got the other loan. Those loans lasted me like 2 months each because my bills were so like crazy trying to run a business in Eastman.
Yeah.
It's like I'm roughly paying $7,500 a month just to be in business.
Yeah.
And then it's like these loans, they give you $18,000. Right?
30% fucking interest. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, how is this going to help me? Because now I have another bill on top of another bill. So it was rough. It was one of the hardest times. And I'm still not recovered because the gym never really returned back 100% to its greatness that it was before all of that. Like it hasn't recovered in the same way.
Yeah. That's where I think when I started off the show, I said, doing it the legal matter way, it's one thing or whatever. Like it kind of looks bad sometimes, but the more you talk and the more, and I think everybody listening to this is going to feel the same way. Sometimes you just get fucked. And when the people fucking you treat you like ain't nothing you could do about it, that's when you're like, you forget what world we live in now, to where it doesn't take but one video, doesn't take but one interview, doesn't take but one moment on social media, and you'll wish that you would have fucking paid me. And that's the thing. What I told you, whenever I'll just be 100% transparent with anybody from Eastman that's involved with this listening. When Jimmy told me about it, the first thing I thought of, and he took a deep breath and he didn't do it, luckily, but still, I am all about if the little guy gets fucked by the big guy, but then you've got a chance to stick it right back up their ass, why not fucking do it?
Dude,
like, I think the more, because here's my thing. It's not just your business. There's going to be somebody else's business next. It's going to be some other mom and pop.
I already got examples.
Yeah. I mean, fuck them. If they want to do that in this day and age, fine then. You can do it, but let's fucking make an example of you.
And dude, I already got examples of stuff they're doing. They went to all the Mexican restaurants in town and told them that they wasn't allowed to use county trash anymore, that they had to pay the company that they're using. The company that they're using, the county trash for the big dumpsters outside,
Yeah.
$250 a month. The company that the city said you have to use if you're inside the city gets a kickback from them using it. You know how much the dumpsters are? $650 a month.
Yeah.
And they said if you're going to operate inside our town, you have to use our trash supply.
You know,
our
that's
people.
a big scheme. That the trash disposals. Fuck, I got stutters. The trash disposal shit is a huge scheme that like mafia has fucking used forever. For fucking ever up in New York and New Jersey. There's a whole ass documentary about a guy who bought a minor league hockey franchise in New Jersey, and he owned trash disposal places or whatever. And that's what he said. Like when you're listening to the documentary, it's like, man, you come in and people have to throw the trash away. They have no choice. It's one of those things. And people are going to pay because they don't want to fucking deal with it. And if they do want to deal with it, they're fucked. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, well, so they did that. Then they come in and told I've talked to 2 owners personally, that they had to buy their stuff from certain vendors, that they wasn't allowed to use other vendors inside the city limits. Like, because the city gets
When
a
you say
kickback.
when you say vendors, what
Like-
type of company?
Like the companies that are supplying their food and their the stuff to run their restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, that's illegal. That's 100% illegal, but they said these are the only vendors that are approved for the city of Eastman. And they're going about it like saying, no, they're not. These are only people verified to follow our guidelines to be in Eastman. We don't want they're attacking it from a different point of view. They're not just saying, oh, you're only allowed to use these vendors. They're saying these are the only vendors approved for our people in town. You
Yeah.
have to buy from one of these. But they're getting kickbacks from it. The city's fucking broke, bro.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's with anything, though. One thing that blows my mind, anytime you see like a diet study or you'd see like a company saying, hey, Coke is good for you, but Pepsi's bad. It's usually Coke funding it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. There's always somebody that's pushing it from behind and paying for the shit or whatever. But like with a town, I don't know. I could see how you should have standards that if you're going to be serving people in a county and you have control or say so in that restaurant, you should have to have like certain ratings or whatever, but it shouldn't be just one. It should be you've got 10 different choices. If not, that's a monopoly. Monopolies are illegal.
I think it's my business. I think it's my business. Like, if I own a restaurant,
Yeah.
and I can get my pizzas from Josh Terry for $10 a piece, then I should buy pizzas from Josh Terry for $10 a piece versus Larry over here who's selling me pizzas for $15.
Yeah, but
the city should not be able to say Larry's pizzas are the only ones you can buy.
Yeah, I don't think they should do that either. But also in that scenario, Josh Terry's pizzas there should be standards, and I think that's why you have like Better Business, whatever the fuck Better Business Bureau and all that kind
Yeah.
of shit is. Like if you have Eastman should say, hey, or any count should say, hey, all right, you have to have a 7+ rating out of a system of 10 to order. You can't just order from this one. That makes no sense. You should be able to be given options.
Well, like they give them a list of vendors and
Yeah,
said these are only
approved
guys.
vendors.
But here's the thing, I think there should be less government. I don't think I'm full on less government. I don't think they should have any control over my business. If the food is bad,
Yeah.
if the food is rated bad, if the food's doing its thing, it'll get worked out. People will stop coming.
Yeah.
Like I think that there should be ratings on like the cleanliness and like how many times have people gotten food poisoning, like stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I do not believe at all that they should have any right. If I wanted to start teaching kung fu and like flowing and
Yeah.
key energy or whatever, then a martial art that don't work, throwing shade, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. It's my business. If I teach no touch knockouts, and people want to come to me and give me their money to teach that, to learn that bullshit, then it's like their prerogative, and my job, my freedom's to run what I want to run out of my business.
Your business, though, in a restaurant, the standards, it's apples and oranges.
I agree.
Yeah, like they should leave. The reason I say that you should have to have a certain rating for a county to work with, because you don't want all of a sudden fucking salmonella to go fucking ape shit nails. Because in restaurant owners, and there's probably some other things, but food just sounds like one that maybe they should have some say so in, but not all.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want fucking some cheap ass, I'm just gonna say Mexican restaurant, to be like, oh, you know what? We're gonna tell everybody this is beef, but we can get like impossible beef for fucking way cheaper.
Guinea pigs.
Like I could see that shit, but what you do? No, man, they ought to, I mean, there should be no fucking say so at all.
Even with the restaurant thing, even in the example that you're using, and just in my opinion, is like, well, they started with the Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
I don't think it's went to the other restaurants yet, but they started with the Mexican restaurants. So, and that is
that's the only restaurants you got in Eastman, though, that are probably locally owned. Everything else is probably a chain. They're probably not going to fuck with chains too much. I mean, you got like a couple other ones. I'm not going to say their names on here just because I'm not giving nobody from Eastman that don't support me fucking any advertisement. Yeah. But there's not that many. There's a couple others, but I would see like the Chinese place being next. I could see them having some say-so or them trying to stronghold them. I think there's a couple buffets or one or two buffets. I can see that, but the rest of them be left alone. But here's the thing with that, too, is if you're going to go after mom and pop, you got to go after the bigger ones. Otherwise, mom and pop, they find out, oh, you did this to us, the Mexican restaurants, but you didn't do this to Taco Bell? You didn't hold them to the same standard?
They're not going to.
Yeah,
and they's like, what can you do? We have the control. We have this
But you know the difference in that, though. One's got corporate lawyers, and the other one's got small town lawyers. Yep. So there's like, oh, we're not going to fuck with the people that can really sue us and come after our ass.
Of course.
We're going to be the bully and fuck with mom and pop.
Let me tell you one of the funniest things. When I was trying to seek help, like when I was angry. Dude, I'm so glad I didn't do this show when I was angry. I actually don't want to talk about the fucking city no more because I don't want to give them any more I don't even want to feel that negative energy anymore like that. And I'm saying negative energy. I'm a true believer. I teach my kids where focus goes, energy flows. My ADHD led me down this path this morning to continue to talk about them, but that ain't what this is about. I'm actually wanting to talk about the future. What?
That's the thing. Like, I get you not wanting to, but you have to. To bring about change, you have to talk about the problem.
Yeah, I agree. And then I think being the change that you want to see in the world is super important. So if I sit up here and I try to like poor mouth and even like this poor pitiful me attitude, then it's like, who the fuck does that help at all?
I don't think you're doing that, though. I hate that you see yourself as you doing that, because that's not what you're doing. You're addressing an issue, and honestly, you're doing it better than I think you realize you're doing. Because if it was somebody like me, I say it on this show goddamn all the time, I'm a crash test dummy. I am going, if I know that I'm right, I'm going to turn into a kamikaze pilot, and I will fucking bring you down, even if it means me bringing myself down. If I'm right, I'm fucking proving that I'm right. You're right, and Eastman and everyone over there ought to appreciate the fact that you're not raising hell about it. See, one thing I've learned here recently, like in my relationship, is, and I've applied it to a lot of things in life, and it honestly feels like what you're doing right now, is I'm so quick to act that sometimes I don't think 3 steps ahead. I don't think about the consequences of my actions if I act right then. You are handling this. I hadn't seen no smearing of nothing on social media. I haven't seen you like losing your shit. Even talking about it earlier, you did it in a way to where it's like, he's calm about this. He's thinking about this. He's doing this the right way.
Dude, the first day it happened, I sat in the bean alone. There was I know you know him, Drew and Matt Oxley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sat in there.
Matt's one of my favorite shows I've done, actually.
Yeah, I sat in there with Matt, and Matt wasn't there yet. I sat in there with tears in my eyes because I'm losing everything that I worked for. I invested my entire life savings, and I'm broke. I'm not. It's like when I went through COVID, before COVID, dude, I was opening a second gym. I was at a point in my life where all my bills was like paid. I had money to go to the beach. I could go, like I could get together with the kids and go to Disney World. Like the first time in my life I was stable, like really stable.
Yeah.
Since I decided to become a business owner, like outside of working for an environmental company, this is the first time I'm stable. And all of this was just taken from me. So I sat in the bean, and I've talked to maybe 10 or 15 people in the mornings because people asked, because small town. So it felt like I was just going to the bean and talking to everybody.
Yeah.
But I haven't made a post. This is the first time I'm talking about it publicly, like for real. I've talked to my friends at the bean and the people that I know personally. This is the first thing that I've put out there. Mostly because I was thinking about legal action. Then I was thinking about like maybe I'll piss off the wrong person. I was scared to like just get completely railroaded. Then I got a letter in the mail. And this letter basically said that I owe them for all the months of COVID. And that was the only thing. And then I had 60 days to get out. When they give me that written letter and I looked at it, I was like, okay, I have to find another place to go. I have to start talking to people. So then I started asking around about buildings. Dude, the people in Eastman want so fucking much for their buildings to rent. Like, it's unreal. And that was one of the things that the city told me. They said that if I could prove I wasn't behind, I could come into it. This was the only reasonable thing that they've done to me. But I don't trust them.
Yeah.
So me not trusting them is like why I didn't even consider it. But they come to me with a lease about 5 years ago, and I refused to sign it. They told me the other day, they give me the letter, done all that. They said, well, you can pay this much a month because this is what the building is worth. You don't pay enough. But if you want to pay us what the building's worth, it'll give us the funds we need to fix another place. And they basically it's triple what I'm paying now. And I was like, dude, you know I can't afford that.
Yeah.
And they said, well, the building's worth that. And I was like, why? You know, went back in this loop because I was upset at the time. And I talked to you, and I had one moment of clarity because I was ready to just get on there and fucking put every name, every conversation, even the shit that I was told about, the deals that I was told about outside of me that's technically hearsay, but I know to be true. Like, all that stuff, I was like, I'm just going to fucking burn this place. Like, I worked for the Environmental Protection Agency for 8 years of my life. That was what I did. I would go through and make cities fix shit and pay shit millions of dollars because they didn't handle their caps right on their sales at their landfills, or they didn't handle their recycling correctly, or they left tanks in the ground at old stores that's technically supposed to be moved when it's inactive for more than 6 months. Like, millions of dollars worth of stuff that this was my job. Like, and you're fucking with me right now, Eastman? Like, this was my job. And you're fucking with me. Like, I don't think they understand. It's like, you think I'm a little guy because I'm a martial arts school owner, but this is what I do or did for 8 years of my life.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think okay. With me, I don't know if you know this or not, but I've said it publicly a lot. City of Eastman has never supported me
either
in any type of business or anything I've done. besides for like some families that I'm really close with, there's not been anybody there been supportive until recently. And I don't care if y'all fucking hear this or not. Till recently,
I got you.
They started noticing what I was doing. They started noticing who I was around, and they were like, "Oh, fuck, maybe he is got something going on." Like, even as far as, I'm not throwing you guys under the bus because I think y'all are cool, the ones that have messaged me, but even as far as stuff they've got coming up, they're trying to get me to give them tickets to concerts for the school system now, to raffle off some shit, trying to get me to get some of the artists that we work with to come sing the national anthem and stuff for them. And it's like, oh, it took you 5 years to realize what I was doing, even though I've had a state resolution in my name for 3. Like, even though, like, I've won awards and shit, now, all of a sudden, because of the company I keep, you want to acknowledge me? I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, me
I'm
neither.
not. I grew up in that fucking town, and I make the joke all the time that there used to just be 2 people that were really famous in this time. Not famous, well known. I hate the fucking word famous.
Yeah.
Well known. Leonard Floyd and me were the most popular people from Dodge County for the longest time. And now Cam Harden's in there because of Big Brother and everything he's doing. So there's 3 of us, right? And it's like, okay, you don't want to pay me attention? That's fine. I want a reason. I want a reason to make something. I've said since I started this show that I wish I could get paid for being an activist, and I could just find where people are getting screwed over.
Yep.
And make that what I am making content about, what I am talking about for the next week or month, whatever.
Bro.
Because this gets my dick hard for a reason that they're going to hate. Because me and you are going to have a conversation after this, and it's like, oh, do you still have keys? Can you still go in that building? Do you have a video or pictures or anything before you ever put money in that building? Do you have testimonies from kids and people that you have helped in your community? Oh, you do? Well, let's do this. Let's go make a fucking video of what it looked like before, what it looks like now, and then let's put your story out there. Because I'm not about the big guy fucking over the little guy and him just sitting there taking it. If you want to be David and Goliath, motherfucker, I'll be the Rock.
That's awesome, dude. And the thing is, man, is I know for a fact that we have people that have been a part of this thing since the beginning and seen the growth of all of it. And then there's kids like, I'm not even gonna say this kid's name because I love him to death. And this particular kid is like one of the junior coaches at the school now. So I don't want to. I'm gonna talk about a couple of our kids, but this particular kid, dude, he was part of gangs. He was in trouble, this and that. And now here he is, 19 years old. He graduated high school. When he come into our school, he slapped Taylor, like 11 years old, and slapped my girlfriend at the time, but my wife now. And like, he slapped her. And like, this is the type of kid. And now here he is. He's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He's helping people on the weekends, like move their stuff and like tear up concrete and like literally just volunteering his time to do that.
He's becoming a man.
And he would have never been what he is now. And that's just one example of what the school has done.
That's why I think the world of you. And I know that every time we've sat and talked or whatever, like, I know what you did for one of our friends, Cobb. And regardless of anything else you've ever done, for y'all, if y'all never heard me talk about Cobb, me and Cobb were both over 300 pounds at one point in time. Cobb lacked confidence. He lacked a whole lot of stuff, a fucking backbone. Cobb started going to the gym with me. Obviously, I'm about 230 still. Cobb's about 180. But
you've still lost a ton of damn weight.
Well, I got down to like 215, but I fucking like, fuck this. I'm comfortable. Like, I don't give a fuck about doing that.
I'll tell you something. Bam commented on that, and he was like, I don't know how Josh does it. He is like, he's very proud of your. He said, I'm very proud of his willpower.
Yeah.
Because he don't have what you have. He said this to me. He said that you can fall off a little bit and then come back.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I can't. He said, if I fall off, and then coming back feels impossible.
Well, most of mine wasn't going to the gym, obviously, but it was is changing the way I eat. So now, like, I'll let myself have how some people have cheat days. I feel like I have cheat months, and then I'll go back into it. Like right now, I'm back on to where not drinking hardly anything. Ain't drinking about 3 weeks, like at all. I'm eating fruits instead of snacks. Like I'm eating baked chicken. It's like me, I'm just whatever. But the point I was getting to with that is I've seen what you've done for him. And because of what you've done for him, giving him the confidence to just everything that he's got now and just a different person that he needed to be. He needed a good kick in the ass to make him the person he is now that he's happy now. I've seen what you've done to him. That makes me, regardless if me and you ever got in a fuss, argument, whatever, like that makes you my dude. I don't give a fuck if I ever walk in that gym or not, but I know what it did for him, so I can only imagine what it's done for other people. And an enemy, what is it? It's an enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Or what? How the fuck
Something
you
like
say? Well, my friend has an enemy. You got a friend in me, so that's our fucking enemy now. Like
Hell
if
yeah.
they want to fucking go with you, when I know what you've done for people, it's like, oh, okay. You know what gets my dick hard? Proving a point.
Yeah.
Proving a fucking point. I don't care. Like, I would love for you to get your money back. But you know what I would love for somebody to be held accountable because in the city of Eastman, I've been to jail. I've been locked up. I've been on probation. They made me be held accountable when I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let them fucking screw over people. There's a difference. Like, I can see because you don't have a lease how they could do certain things. But at the same time, like I said earlier, I wouldn't view myself as a fucking renter of that building. I'm the contractor. If that's the way you're going to treat me, that's the way I'm going to treat you. You can just give me back the money that I've spent with you to improve this place. Yeah, it's probably not a tenth of what the fuck you've paid in rent to them, but also too, fuck that shit. Like I don't think it's right. And I think that if we put this on social media, if we do it the way that I would want to do, it's telling the truth. There's nothing wrong with fucking telling the truth.
Yeah.
And if it does, there's going to be somebody, some lawyer, somebody that's going to be like, oh, I want this. But if that doesn't happen, there's going to be somebody from the city of Eastman that also says this, fuck, I don't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke. I don't want to deal with #1 podcast in the state of Georgia. I don't want to have our shit constantly being shared on social media. It intimidates them to the point where, oh, you didn't do the right thing to start off with. Now you're going to have to, or you got to deal with this.
Dude, and the thing about it is like, I had one ally that stuck with me from the board through the whole time. And then he got voted off. Within 3 months, I'm having problems.
Yeah.
So shout out to Raymond Mullis.
I reckon I know him.
He was one of the board members. He was one of the ones that we made the original agreement with and stuff. And he fought. He fought to honor it. And they basically told him, fuck that. And he didn't make any waves after that.
How many of the original board members, you said there was 3 that you talked to start off with, how many of them are still on the board?
I think they're all gone.
Think they're all gone?
I'm not sure. I don't know who's on the board. I know two. There's 2 new board members, and they're looking at everything that the city's been doing, and they're going, oh, well, y'all are losing money here. They're looking at it as a business,
Yeah.
which isn't wrong, but then they're wasting money. I'll tell you, let's talk about this. Same shit, same type of shit, but this is something that I'm fucking passionate about, and I'm pissed about it. And this is something that all that other stuff, I don't care as much about because I'm finding a new building. Dude, I did a seminar Saturday. I did a fucking seminar. You don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, right?
Not a goddamn thing.
Okay, great. Who do you think would go to seminars? White, blue, purple belts, people that are learning, or black and brown belts that have been training and been around the
It's
shit?
probably people, if I had to think, it's probably people that are already good, that already know a little bit about it, but they're trying to learn and get better.
Okay. Yes, you're correct. But usually it's people who want when they go to seminars, it's people who are wanting to get better, but it's usually people that don't know enough and they want to like get outside their gym and experience someone else's teaching and stuff like that. Or maybe they're trying, it's usually white, blue, and purple belts that go to seminars.
Okay.
That's usually who goes to seminars. You go to do a seminar, the room will be like 10-1 with white and blues versus brown and blacks. I taught a seminar. This is only the third seminar that I've ever taught. I had 8 brown belts and 4 black belts. I had 2 white belts, 2 blue belts, and 1 purple belt in the room. I had more brown and black belts in the room than I did. I had more brown and black belts in the room than I did newer belts. And one of the older belts, one of the black belts, come up to me and he said, "Jimmy, I go to every single seminar." He's a black belt. He said, "I go around because I enjoy networking and getting to know new people and stuff like that. I have never seen this happen." He was like, "I've never seen a room with more black belts and brown belts than white and blue." And he was like, "The white belts and blue belts don't know who you are."
Yeah.
And it shows by this room.
But your
the
peers
fact
do.
that my peers come to learn from me, he said, that says more about your teaching and how good you are than anything else.
Oh, it speaks volumes for you, dude. It speaks volumes for you.
And so I'm very proud of that. And then I'm proud of the fact that we're trying to find a new building. God doesn't bless you with things. He blesses you with people.
Yeah.
Every single person that I've been around, that I've taught, that are part of the gym, even you, like my friends, they said, "What do you need me to do? How can I help? Let's find you a building." I had people that I don't even know calling me about buildings, telling me where buildings are, trying to help move forward. And I found a couple of places. So I have some really big ideas that I'm got in the works right now that I would have never done if this didn't happen. So the good Lord blessed me in a way by kicking me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
He said, "Motherfucker, this ain't what I called you to do. Get your ass out here and start doing what I called you to do, which is changing people's lives and helping them reach the best versions of themselves."
Yeah. You're not always where you want to be, but you're always where you're supposed to be if you got faith. And when you start viewing things as if, yeah, this sucks right now, but maybe it's supposed to suck. Like, you don't ever know your lesson that you learn in something until you're on the other side of it.
Yep.
And once you get on the other side of it is when you're like, oh, I had to go through this shit.
So and then this is what started my little rant. About 5 years ago, this is like 2018 or 2019, they got a stack building that's just outside of city limits. But the developmental authority, housing or whatever, they're responsible for the building. Like, they got a government grant to build this building. When you go inside the building, it's a dirt floor. There was no floor. They did the bare minimum. They put up metal studs with footers to cover the outside in a metal. And then they put brick front entrance with a concrete slab just at the front door to dress up the front. This was the bare minimum to get this grant from the government. I found the building. Here's what I wanted to do. And it's like, I'm pissed. I'm still mad about this. I wanted to turn this into a summer camp. I wanted to turn it into a training facility. I wanted to turn it into a recording studio for my podcast and my online university that we do. I wanted to have this summer camp and then have like the dance, gymnastics, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and kickboxing all under the same roof.
Yeah.
Then I wanted the track upstairs, and I wanted the activity rooms for the summer and for the kids after school. And I wanted to fund all of this stuff myself, but I needed a place to do it. So I went to the developmental and I said, "This building is the perfect size. I want this building. What can we do? You know, like, y'all got it through a grant. The grant's coming up. What can we do? Oh, we got to have at least $875,000 for this building."
God damn.
I said, "Listen, it's going to cost me this much money to put a floor in here. That's ridiculous. If I could find an acre of land, I could build this same building for about, with the material cost right now, for about $150,000. Like, we can't do that. I'm willing to give you guys $400,000. I'll go borrow money for the 4 acres in this building, $400,000. This is what publicly you owe on the building, and then that'll get y'all out from under the loan payment, so the city's not paying that loan payment, and it'll do something for the kids. Do you want to know what those motherfuckers told me?
Probably told you hell no.
Their exact words was, it's close to the railroad track. Somebody could come in and pay us big money to connect to the railroad and run a big business out of here. Or you could get the building for what we're asking for you, and we'll help you get a government grant, and you can run a rehab out of here.
But you have to too. Now, like, and something like that, if I was them,
I could run a rehab.
I don't think
after the fact. This is too late. In my mind, rehab is too late. How do you stop people from becoming drug addicts?
Are you right? You give them something to do, but if they have that in mind to where it's close to the railroad tracks, they want to keep it to where a big business can come in. And a big business too, you got to think they're probably thinking about jobs for
Devil's
the community.
advocate, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, if you know what I'm saying, like I could see that too.
Now let me tell you what they did with the building.
But also be devil advocate towards them. How many people made an offer on that building?
Well, let me tell you what they did with the building. Well, they gave the building to a guy that promised him that they would create 10 jobs within 5 years.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
10 jobs, 5 years.
They gave it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they gave it to him for that man, allowing them road access through the property he already owned. That's the only thing they got.
Yeah.
Was allowing road access to a future project that they may or may not do. Just like the Fred's building.
Yeah.
They bought it, gonna make it the damn city. Then they sold it to Jack's. Then they bought the Goody buildings, gonna make it City Hall and move the police department over there. Then they decided that's too much money. Now they're just taking my building. But they gave it away for the promise of 10 jobs.
Yeah.
It was a fucking backhanded deal. And you know how, and that was right after I went to them about the building. It was a backhanded deal. It was a piece of shit deal. The dude still hasn't gave them 10 jobs. Yeah. And it's been that long. Like that's the problem that I have is they do shit like that. They rub elbows and do stuff like that. And I'm mad about this because you think about the future is the kids. It's not just about the kids. This would have been great for me as well. So I'm selfish in my thinking a little bit. But on the other end of that...
Well, it's a win-win. It's not being selfish. It's being smart.
But on the other end of that, you have... On the other end of that shit, you have the ability to stop kids from sitting outside partying and fighting and like doing shit that kids do when they don't have anything else to do. Yeah. It would get rid of a lot of the gang issues. It would put kids around the environment. It would put kids around men, teaching people accountability. Because right now there's no accountability for people's actions. They can say whatever the fuck they want on their phones and nobody's knocking on their door saying, what did you say? And I think that's the issue is that there is no accountability. And I think we talked about this a little bit last time I was on here. Outside of violence, how do you make someone stop being disrespectful if you've asked them to and they don't care?
You fucking teach them a lesson.
You have to.
Yeah.
So I'm mad about that. I'm mad that they had the opportunity. If they gave the building away, if they had the opportunity to put something amazing that I would have poured my heart and my life into to make sure that Eastman had something for everybody, not just kids, everybody. And it's like, you mentioned Cobb. Dude, I'm not exaggerating. I have probably 30 Cobb stories.
Yeah.
30 that I could just rattle off. 30 of them. Cobb stories. That's not counting kids, like other kids and like the way that they're viewing things and their drives to get them out from in front of the screens. It's none of that. And then I'm having to move, which is okay. They're the landlord. It's fine. But the way they went about it and the disrespectful way they went about it, instead of talking to me, instead of springing it up on me, they could have told me even if the things that they were saying true, which they wasn't, why was there no conversation had beforehand. If I got a problem with Josh Terry, I'm not going to go and publicly announce I got a problem with Josh Terry and talk shit at the Frozen Bean about Josh Terry. I'm going to come and say, hey, Josh, what you did was I felt disrespected. Or, hey, Josh, this is what happened. Josh, I'm sorry that this is uncomfortable for both of us, but I felt disrespected.
Well, I think probably the way that they're going to spin this, or how a lot of people will probably perceive it, is, not really from their perspective. This is how I'm going to take this, and I hope that everybody else listens and whatever. If there was an issue about you being behind on rent, that should have came up before them wanting to evict you. Then it should have came up if it was during COVID. It should have came up after COVID. It should not have waited 2 years later. Then all of a sudden, this is an issue. This makes it look like to anybody from the outside looking in, obviously without hearing their side, is we have an offer on this building and we're going to make way more money off of this than we're going to make off of Jimmy and his gym. So we've got to do the thing that we have to do to make him look bad in the community to where he doesn't get community support.
Yep.
But
I agree with
that.
The
fucked up thing with that is a lot of people in the community know what you've done. A lot of people know in the community how you are, that you are somebody that if there was an issue, like you're talking about now, if there was an issue with rent back after COVID and they would have came to you and said something, you're the type of person that would have confronted it head on. You would have paid it, or you would have been like, hey, look, we didn't have a handshake agreement. Y'all told me so and so and so. Let's make this right. Like, you've put so much time, effort, just blood, sweat, tears into where you're at now. You would have never let something build up to where it was an issue. You would have addressed it in the first place.
Yes, that part. That part. And here's the thing. Even if I didn't have the money back then, which I didn't, at that time, I did not have the money. And they made us, because they were the city, made us close, right? But if they would have come to me and said, hey, we need this back rent now that everything's getting back to normal, I would have been like, I can't pay you, but what if I add this much to it until you're paid off? Would that work out?
Yeah.
Like, I would have asked, but that wasn't what was said. What was said was, don't worry about rent until we get back to normal. I know this is a hardship, and we're making you. I wasn't going to close.
Yeah.
The city was closed like 3 weeks before I'd closed, and then a police officer knocked on my door and told me that the city told me that we can't have class, that we're not supposed to be gathering, which hindsight, they didn't have the right to tell us to do.
Yeah.
But we didn't know. No one knew how bad this thing was going to get or what this thing was.
You're the right lawyer's wet dream. I just want you to know that. Like, this right here for somebody who's either works in civil law or, whatever the fuck it's called. What's it called when it's about a person, like your rights and everything? Is it civil rights? Yeah. Civil rights.
No idea.
It's civil rights attorney. Like, a civil rights attorney, somebody like that, like you've done nothing wrong. And just the timing of it is where it's a lawsuit. The timing of it is where, look, all jokes aside, if I'm in their shoes and I want you gone, I am probably going to do not what they did, but I'm going to go to you and be like, hey, look, I'm just telling you right now, you have a chance to match this offer. If you don't match this offer, then we're going to come to a resolution.
That is kind of what they did after I had receipts to prove that their first tactic was wrong.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They was like, oh, well, we're going to... And I said triple. It's almost 4 times more. It's like $100 shy of being 4 times more than what I pay now that they wanted. And it's like, well... Like, if they would have come to me and said, hey, here's what we have, here's what's going on, before they tried to make me look bad and make me be this person, bro, even if I was behind on my fucking rent, I wasn't. I was not fucking behind them. But if I was, come and talk to me, and I would have to accept it as a man.
Yeah.
I'm accepting it as a man now, and I'm angry because you did it dirty.
Yeah, I don't like the strong arming of it. I don't like that you're going to say this and try to make me look bad when it's obviously greed is the underlying cause.
Yeah, it's
here.
greed. It's fucking greed
fucking
because
greed.
you're broke. They're broke, dude, and they borrowed money and then didn't use it's illegal to borrow money. If I borrowed money and said I'm gonna pay off my credit cards, I'm gonna pay off my credit cards. Let me borrow the money, and then I took the money and went to Vegas and spent all the money at Vegas and come back and I still have the credit card. That's illegal.
Well, it's called fraud and it's 100% illegal.
That's what they
and
did.
If me and you would have done that to them, they'd have been the first ones to press charges on us. They're the first ones that would have made an issue out of it.
Dude, that's what they did. That's what they did with the fucking meters. That's what they did with the splash pad. That's what they did with the Boys and Girls Club. And they told me right in front of my face, we're broke. Because I said, what about the $100,000 I put into the building? The manager said, good luck getting that. We're broke. We just had to borrow another $20 million. I meant $2 million, not 20.
Of course, that's what they're going to have to say, though. Because, see, like that's also, too, to them, that's them deflecting. That's them saying, hey, dude, we know that we fucked up. And we know that there's some recourse here. And there's going to be some kind of consequence for our actions. But the more we make you seem like we can't pay you for your services, the less that you're going to try to pursue it. There's a lot of time people will be like, I'm going to sue or I'm going to do whatever. And like most of the time, I'm like, you're just a fucking idiot. Like you have no...
That's why I'm not saying
You have no recourse. You have no recourse. But in your situation, the way that they're treating you is what would make me treat them accordingly.
Dude, this brings me back to something, a thought that I had earlier, and then I went off on subject. Something that they did that's really fucking smart. They put every lawyer on retention for certain things from here to Macon.
Yeah.
Like from Eastman to Macon. You know why? If they represent the city in some form or way,
it's a conflict of interest.
It's a conflict of interest, and they can't represent you. But I have two friends that don't even live in Eastman. That like one of them is literally from Macon. He sent me a text. Because I reached out to him. He was like, "We have dealings with the city. It's a conflict of interest. I can't advise you anything because I could get disbarred."
Yeah.
Literally, and they done that with every lawyer from that I know of, from Eastman to Macon almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But with this,
and it could be something so as small as, hey, can you draft up this
non-disclosure agreement or something?
Yeah,
like that.
and they did it. They used all the lawyers around for little bitty things, because now the city of Eastman is a client, and the local lawyers can't go against them.
Yeah. I would find someone that, man, this is really well versed in civil rights and your actual rights as a renter or whatever. Because there's something there with, as long as you've been there, all the improvements and everything, that there's an unspoken agreement. And like I said, if there's laws and there's shit that makes common law marriage legal, there's got to be something that says this man has been here this long. There's something. But also, too, like I said earlier, you're a fucking contractor. Treat them like such.
Yeah, dude, that's literally what I was told during the one lawyer that sat down with me.
Yeah.
They literally said, yeah, you're a contractor, and you can get work liens put on the building for everything that you did.
Yeah.
And whether they said they told you to do it or not, the fact that you were there 10 years.
Well, I think this is their problem, and the city of Eastman doesn't realize this. Regardless what they do with that building, if you can look back at tax records, whatever, when you went into that building the first day and they told you $15,000 or whatever it was at the time.
15.
There's got to be some account of that, right?
There is.
There's got to be something that says, hey, this was for sale 10 years ago for $15,000. Then there has to be now what they valued it at. So sometime in the middle there's been work done to it to where there has to be a paper trail to where that money was spent, who did this and who done what.
How did this building
How did it
magically
improve?
get better?
Yeah,
How did
did
this
it
building
improve?
Yeah.
So there's no way that they can say that you did not put money and time and effort into it. Or they have to do this, and then they'll get sued for fucking fraud with somebody, or they have to come up with receipts and everything that says we paid for this. Okay, well, if you paid Terry's Drywall to do this, let's go to Terry's Drywall and get their receipt and their accountability of it. No business is going to sit there and say, you paid me for something when I fucking didn't.
The coolest part of it is when I was talking to him. Like I said, I don't think, just so y'all know, I don't think I'm gonna pursue it in that way, because I don't know. I'm still so up in the air. I even debated coming on here and talking about it, because I still don't know what all of the legal and like maybe me admitting certain things maybe hurts the case or whatever. I don't want to be that person. I was told by people, well, just take all your shit out. If I took all the wiring and took all the doors and all the damn toilets and sinks and the lights and then grabbed my concrete flooring, like took all that out, what do they have? They have a $15,000 building again.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not illegal because there's no lease. All of that stuff belongs to me. Every bit of it, it belongs to me.
Hey, all bullshit aside, I mean, 100%. If you've got the receipts where you paid for the shit and they're saying that they didn't tell you to do any of that stuff, yeah, you got every right in the world to take back what is yours.
Even better, I have contractors that are willing to write receipts saying they did this work for me.
But they actually did the work, though.
With me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like I was dude, I'm not no fucking contractor. You think I know how to do half of that stuff? It's like, no, I was just there handing people shit. Like, hey, Jimmy, go grab us this. Yes, sir, boss. Yeah. Like, I don't build fucking buildings. I'm not like, I'm a fast learner, but I'm a fast learner. I could probably do most of that stuff now that I've seen it done. But I had somebody that was there that was doing the shit.
That you paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I know, like, you are thinking you don't want to do the legal recourse or whatever, but in my mind, I tell people this all the time, dude. It's, if you let them get away with it, who's the next person they're going to do it to? Are you supposed to be going through this right now because you're strong enough and you're smart enough and you are composed enough to where you can hold them accountable and do it in the right way so they don't do it to the next mom and pop that is not built that way?
And I'm not even sure that I'm the person that could hold them accountable in that way, because that's why I was angry. Yeah. I've worked 30 years on getting control of my emotions. Yeah. That's why I started training. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me about it on the first episode or two we did.
Yeah, that's why I started training, is to work on my, like, I was taught, from a young age that everything was a test of my manhood, and I had to be tough, and the world was going to, shit on me, this and that. And my entire life, I've been the little guy, white trash, blah, 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 my entire life. And now here we are, and I'm the little, like, I've thought that I was climbing out of this white trash or this this stigma of the lower class, little guy, whatever. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, I had what I had because the bigger guys just allowed me to have it. They're just taking it away now.
See, that's where I feel like you got to fight. And even if you don't do the legal recourse, even if that's the way you choose not to go, I still think you make a big deal out of it. I still think you make it a big deal publicly, because if they're going to make you look bad publicly, that's fair game, baby. That's fair game. If they're going to try to bring down your reputation by saying you didn't do something, one, that's going to look like shit on the next person that goes to rent you a building or sell you a building. You have to, you cannot let people go. You can't let people just do that shit to you.
So, yes, I agree. You can't just let people go. But at what point does it look like I'm being, like, petty, or I'm being, like, you know how they say take the hard road and this and this and this? how much of a balance I've been teaching these kids: stand tall, stand tall.
You
speak
probably
clearly,
also
man,
taught
like
them
that.
to stand up for the damn selves.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a difference. Taking the higher road in something is usually when two people are at an even playing field and one does some shady shit. You're not on an even playing field.
No, I'm being bullied.
Yeah, you're being bullied.
I'm 100% being bullied.
That's the difference.
And when you look at it, it's like I can sit here and play victim though, because they did this and then this and But on the flip side of this, they are the landlord, and I had the opportunity to run a business for 10 years.
Yeah.
Out of their business, and there was a good arrangement made in the two things, right? So me personally, I'm smart enough to realize I run a business. At some point, you have to make business decisions regardless of relationships.
Yeah.
I can't let all my friends train for free. Now,
absolutely not.
But if
I get
my
what you're
friends
saying.
need help moving, I can not charge them to help them move their house.
Yeah.
I can go to their house and hand them tools while they change their floor or change their lot or whatever.
Well, even with all that though, Jimmy, you got to realize, like, yeah, they let you be there that long because you were paying an agreed rent. They didn't allow you to have a business. You earned that right by paying your rent. They didn't allow you to do anything. If they were allowing you and just, whatever, Jimmy's this, we're gonna let him do whatever the fuck he wants to, they wouldn't charge you no goddamn rent. They wouldn't be making a case out of this now. Plus,
I agree.
You're missing the everybody that doesn't get this. There's one clear. I like everything simple in my life. I like to simplify fucking everything.
Me too.
Right and wrong. There's a right way to do this. There's a wrong way to do it. They did it the wrong way. And if me and you were to do something the wrong way when it comes to a local government, we would have been held accountable for it. We'd have had to fucking deal with the consequences of our actions. So even if it's not a financial gain from you or a monetary gain or whatever the fuck you want to say, you still have to, if you do it the right way, you're not playing the victim. You're standing up for yourself and you're saying, not today, motherfucker, not today.
And I guess that's the pride in me a little bit, because I always try to stand on, like, how do I articulate this? I get punched in the head for a living, guys. Like, I'm not a poet. I don't know like all these legal issues and like all this. I don't know that type of. I grew up in a way where everything was a test of your manhood, and you settled it like men if there was a disagreement. If there's no disagreement or no disrespect, we can talk it out. If there's any ounce of disrespect, then you fight it out, and then the winner, the loser, doesn't matter. You shake each other's hands, and then it's settled. And it's like, that's who I am. And then I entered into this world where I had to learn how to live in society, not as a caveman that fights people because they felt disrespected. I had to learn, and I think it's, I don't want to throw shade, but I think it's because weak men got their power in different ways.
Absolutely. That's not throwing shade. That is what you call the fucking truth, bro. That is where, like I'm telling you, you can think however you want to with this. This was done wrong. How you had to learn how to do things the right way and how to control yourself and how to approach situations in the right way. Somebody who is overseeing a town and has so many people at their fucking fingertips whose life they can destroy, they're doing that to you. This is standing up to them. This is doing the right thing regardless of how you do it.
Yeah, my life is 100% up in the air.
You wouldn't okay, let me ask you this. You wouldn't let anybody grab you by your arm, break your arm, and take your livelihood from you because you're a jiu-jitsu teacher, correct?
Right.
That steals your livelihood, right?
Right.
If they break your fucking arm, you can't feed your family, you can't go to class, you can't do whatever. What would you do if somebody tried to take your livelihood physically?
They'd get hurt.
Okay. Same situation here.
Or I'd get
They're
hurt.
trying to take your livelihood.
There would be a fight that ensued.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people miss it. If you do things the right way,
I'll tell you,
there's a right way and there's a wrong way to go about every single thing in life.
thinking about your example, I'll defend myself if people touch me and stuff, but I'm more apt if somebody did Josh Terry wrong.
Yeah.
I would fight for you way faster than I would ever fight for me.
Yeah.
And I've been that way my whole life.
Yeah, but you have a wife and kid.
Right.
This is your livelihood.
Yeah, and see that I haven't thought about it in that way a whole lot. Now that you're saying it, my mind's turning it that way, and it's like, yeah, I get that. And I say this to say, my whole life I was trying to protect like my sister, my mom, and my baby brother, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a protector, but I didn't care enough about myself to, like, I would always stand up for myself, but I would fight for my friends and the people around me way faster because I put value on the people that put themselves in my life a lot more than I have myself.
Well, even if you view it that way, though.
Yeah, now we're thinking about it, it's like you took food out my daughter's mouth on me.
Even if you view it the way you're sitting there saying that you're a protector of everybody else and you want to help everybody else. Think of all the people that you've came in there and helped, that they're trying to prevent you from helping those people. Those people are an extension of you. That business is an extension of you. A lot of things, Cobb don't fucking have the changes in his life if it's not for you. The city of Eastman is trying to prevent all those extensions of you from happening. Or at least in that place, with them not giving you a viable option to continue to keep pushing your message.
Giving me like a couple, like, not, instead of saying, hey, they come and said 7 days.
Well, that's what originally told me, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, they originally walked across the road right after meeting and said, you got 7 days, get your shit out. And it was like, this is how they said it. You ready for this? Hey, I have bad news. You got 7 days, you need to leave. I said, what? No, you got 7 days. I was like, nah. Like, no, it'd take you longer than that to get me in court. Like,
yeah.
Like, what? Why?
That's
What's
the first
going
thing
on?
I told you is there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way they can evict you in 7 days.
And then it was, well, their exact words, you're behind 5 months on your rent. I said, that's not true. And he was like, well, you need to take it up with the lady at the front desk. I said, we will. So then Taylor went over there with our book and said, what months did we miss? Oh, well, we don't know that. We just know you haven't given us 12 payments. Mm-mm. And then it was, well, if you don't know what months we missed, how are we supposed to prove to you? Well, just give us what you have. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And I was like, Taylor messaged me, and I was like, don't give them anything. Don't give them anything. So then she left from over there. They come over and was talking to us, and I was like, they was like, it's not personal. I was like, dude, you're taking my livelihood.
Yeah.
I've spent my entire life savings on this building with an agreement with y'all that y'all agreed that this was good for the city of Eastman, that this was good for the kids, that y'all wanted it here because this is something for the kids. This was your way of helping me support the kids and make sure that these kids have a future here. And now you're telling me like this and this and this. And the lady said, they said 5 at the meeting. And then when he come talk to me, then she said 9.
Yeah.
Then she said 9 at the thing. Then they come across and I'm like, which is it? The 5 or 9?
That's where I'm telling you, dude. And we keep wrapping it around.
Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
We'll end on this.
No, I don't want to. I got other things, like something else. I'm sorry. I got something else that I really, really want to talk before we get off. I didn't even want to spend that long. I want to take about 15 minutes to tell you guys this. I'm trying to find a building. I'm looking at other places. I'm looking at I got a buddy of mine that's looking at bringing tech center to Cochran.
That's cool.
I got a buddy of mine that's looking to bring in tech center to McRae. I have a couple of building options in Eastman. This is what I wanted to talk about. I am doing an online university. So I don't give a shit where you are in your world, in your life. I don't care. This was what I want to talk about. I didn't want to make it about the fucking corrupt city. I'm sorry that we got off on that tangent.
No, that's
because that to me felt like I'm poor mouthing and I'm doing all this. It feels bad.
So you telling the
I
truth,
want to
bro.
tell you guys this. That for one, it doesn't matter about the building. We'll figure out a way
I'll tell
to.
you what, before we get on this,
Okay.
let's take a break.
Okay.
Real fast.
Yes.
Let's take a break real fast, and then we'll end on that.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, bud.
Oh, you know, you're good. I got to pick Grayson up from school at 3.
Oh.
And then me and you can finish.
Okay.
That's what I don't want to. I don't want to speed through at the end.
Oh, well, I got.
That's what I say. When you say 15 minutes, I don't want to speed through it because. All right, we're back. For anybody who's wondering why we took that break, I had to go get Gracie from school. So yeah, it gave me in time for me and Jimmy to talk about some more shit anyway. So
Yeah.
let's finish up with what you were talking about while ago at the end.
So let's change. I just wanted to change tune. I didn't really intend on like putting all the personal stuff out there like that, but like I said, when I first found out about what all happened, I was super angry, and I'm glad I didn't come right away because, like I said, I would have probably cried. I would have probably act out a character. Like I would have 100% been upset because my whole life, everything I worked for was just snatched out from under me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like emotional.
Well, even if you would have done that, it wouldn't have been the right business move. But I think people would have admired you. I think that people would have understood, just how passionate you are even more.
Yeah, and I think that it would have been good for public image in a lot of ways to be that transparent for people to know how much I cared about it. But on the other side of that, it would have been for me. I feel like if I went about it in a vindictive or petty or because of my anger, it could have also made me look. It could have made me look in a way that I don't want people to see me, which is like.
Well, it would have made you look irrational. It would have made people
that part.
It would probably make people not necessarily want to do business with you. This right here, it shows you're rational. It shows that you've grown. It shows you're not the person you were as a teenager or early 20s.
Right.
It really shows that you're a business person.
So, but moving forward, this is what I really want to talk about. So, unforeseen circumstances, I have to move, right? Well, I have different buildings, I have different things, different options and stuff like that. And I would have never gotten out of my comfort zone had this not happened. I would have just stayed comfortable enough to continue growing. Well, I've had people that are interested in like maybe starting their own tech centers and having more than one, which is something that I've always dreamed of. I just hadn't had the right opportunity or the right positioning to start doing it. And I mentioned my seminar earlier. So here's one of the things that I'm going to be doing and that I'm super excited about. I'm setting up another recording studio. I have the podcasting studio where I was doing Tech Talk. But now I'm setting one up to record the moves and the things like that. So maybe the people that are too shy to get off the couch or too shy to do things in front of other people, now you guys will be able to learn from me right at your house.
That's cool.
You will be able to sit at home, get one of your friends, get somebody that you know, and then practice everything that we're doing inside the school. And not only that, I'll record the classes from the school. So if you're a member, when you show up and do class, if you ask questions and stuff, it might be on the
I do the same thing with the Karma Sutra and sexual positions.
Nice.
I record myself online by myself doing them, like just using a pillow, and then
people
sell it out into the world.
People can go out and do it.
How you're supposed to do it.
But you can literally participate with what we're doing and learn what you're doing at home. Or if you're already trained and you want to see how we're doing certain things, you can get the online university and start learning from us right here in Eastman. You could be anywhere in the world learning from Tech Center.
That's cool, dude.
And not only that, I'm doing a seminar tour. So I just did the first part. I did that in Douglas, Georgia at Force MMA, which is, if you guys don't know who Wyatt Montgomery is, he just competed for the PGF trials. Very, very knowledgeable dude. Best dude around Douglas, Georgia. He was humble enough to let me come in and try to raise some money. We're trying to raise about $6,000 to get into the new space. So how I'm trying to do that is I'm going to these cities. My next stop is Valdosta, Georgia at Legacy 31. A dude who owns that is Court. And I'm going in there. I'm going to teach a seminar. It's donation based. So everything, all the proceeds go to us trying to get a new spot, a new space big enough to continue doing what we're doing, to continue allow, like us to impact these kids and change their lives, impact these adults and help them make the life changes that they need to reach their goals. And then I'm going to be at Patterson. I'm not sure how close that is to Waycross, but I think I'm doing one in Baxley. If Patterson's close to Waycross, I'm not doing Waycross. But if it's not, if it's like an hour or so away, there, and then Jacksonville, Florida.
That's
So
cool.
it's literally a tour, and I'm going around and teaching some of the things that I feel like a lot of schools, they miss the mark on how they work. And it's something that I had to learn for somebody who, I'm a little bigger now, but my entire fight career, I was 135 pounds. I had to learn how to use my body against the stronger people because everybody in my gym is like 190 to 250. And like, I do Kimuras to big guys, and it's like, how do you do a Kimura to a bigger guy when they could just straighten their arm and stuff like that? I have a way to do it, and I'm going around talking about hip bump, how to finish these things. Some of you guys aren't going to know what that is because you don't do
I have no fucking
jiu-jitsu.
idea what you're talking about whatsoever.
But basically how to submit a bigger guy in a way that makes you strong, even though you're the smaller guy. There's moves that people list as big man moves that you shouldn't do as a small move. And like Kimura is kind of one of those things. People are getting better aware about how to do it. But man, I'm telling you, there's something for everybody. Whether you're a beginner or you've been around the block or two, there's something for everybody. And it's donation based. I have to raise enough money to get into a new space. And that's why I wanted to come here. I want you guys to show support. We're gonna put out like the Cash App thing. You guys, even if you don't come, hey, donate, help us out, because we need to get into a new spot so that I can continue doing what I'm doing. And this is one of those things where I'm trying to.
Well, I'm gonna help you out right here. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna save your ass right here. I just played. Not completely save your ass, but with this conversation. So, guys, Jimmy, everything we talked about today, a lot of us don't understand none of the MMA shit because we're not MMA guys. I don't know shit about jiu-jitsu. I don't know nothing. But what I do know, he's a good fucking dude. He's a leader of men. You can want your kid to be the best at MMA, and you can go to Jimmy if that's what you want, if that's what you're looking for. Or you can also go to the tech center with Jimmy and everybody else, and you can help that kid, that boy, become a man, that girl become a woman. You're learning life lessons. You're becoming a better person with everything that Jimmy's teaching. If you're unhealthy or you feel like you're at an unhealthy weight or whatever, also a great exercise. Jimmy's going to sit here and push to you guys all he can teach you because he's so fucking good. And he is good. But the tech center needs to be helped and needs to be saved because of what not necessarily shown on the mat. It's the things that are in the classrooms. It's the things that are in the streets. It's becoming better people. Our kids need outlets. I make my daughter play sports so she learns lessons. Jimmy's teaching those lessons at his gym.
Yeah, we literally do. It's a part of our curriculum. It's called Mat Chat. And we use real life examples with the kids. We even do things like that with the adults. We use real life examples, things that maybe we didn't handle correctly, and this is how we should. We do life lessons just about my favorite one. I'll give y'all an example so you can understand what we do. We teach the kids, what do you do when someone's mean to you? Well, I'm sure Josh has got some jokes, right? Josh, say something really mean about me, like anything that you can think of really mean to me. This is the thing we do. This is something we do inside our school.
Let's see. You look like Joe Rogan with AIDS.
Damn. Man, I wish I looked as good as Joe Rogan. Like, he's really strong. Like, dude, you compared me to Joe Rogan. That's really cool, dude. I wish
with AIDS.
Yeah, but that don't matter because, listen.
You took the positive.
Bro, I'm telling, listen. I wish I looked that good for real. Like, hey, I'll take a lesser version of that dude because he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then, look, if he said something like, oh, you're bald, you're ugly, it's like, man, I wish I had a nice beard like you, Josh. Josh, you got the best beard I ever seen, dude. I can't grow one like that. Mine is.
You teach healthy deflection.
Now, when we do that with the kids and they'll say something mean, we teach them to be nice while they're creating distance. And we also teach them that if you say something negative back, you are now causing more negativity. And now you're actually allowing your ego to get you into a fight when you could compliment the person, steal the air, the wind out of their sails or whatever, and create space because they go, what happened? Once they're nice to you, how hard is it for you to be mean to me when I complimented? Man, I wish I was strong like you.
It takes the fun out of it. It takes the point that they're trying to prove or the point they're trying to make. It makes it where it's non-existent.
And this is a drill that we do with the kids regularly to make them better at it. Yeah. And it's like, it's fun because some of the kids get to be bullies and pretend to like, hey, da-da-da-da-da, and they get to try. My favorite one to date is one of the kids told me I look like a broken Mr. Clean.
That's funny.
Yeah, he told me I look like a broke Mr. Clean or something, but it was just so funny because it was a little kid, and he just thought of it all, like a little bitty, like 7-year-old.
And see, that's why I love what you do, though. It's not about how talented you are with MMA, because you are. It's everybody that knows you knows, what you've done, how good you are at what you do. And that is one aspect that, I'm sure parents and kids and adults come in there because they want to do that. But I think there's more to it. I think when I started this show, I said, you're a leader of men. You're a guy who makes you want to run through a fucking wall. And you teach lessons and you teach people how to be an adult and do it in the right way, to stand up for yourself, to have confidence. That's what I want to push to the people that are listening right now, that there's not enough of that out there. We always complain that our kids are weak. We always complain that our kids are soft, that we live in a world that doesn't care about weak and soft people anymore. And we don't. That's not what he's teaching. He's teaching folks how to stand up for yourself, how to be grown, how to not be bullied, that doesn't mean that you're a kid. That means adults get bullied too. He's showing you a better way, in a more passionate and honest way, and just better living. That's what I want people to hear. I want y'all to check out Jimmy on all his social medias, his Cash App, make a donation to this dude. I don't think I've done that with people on the show before, but I know what he's doing. And if I'm backing him and I'm saying, this is the guy. If my daughter liked MMA and shit and she wasn't doing other stuff, I would make her go to Jimmy, not because of his talent level of coaching, but everything that comes along with it. And we've got to keep the tech center and stuff like that in business.
So that's why we're doing this tour, though. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not just out here saying, hey, please help me. I'm saying please help me, but I'm also trying to make sure that I do it in an honorable way and that I'm giving back while asking for the help and stuff, guys, because it matters so much to me, not just because this has had my livelihood, but because I believe that we are changing lives. I believe in what we're doing, and there's so many examples of people that have come through that, were sitting on the couch eating all day, that are now, their lives are changed. We got kids that had just graduated from the Air Force that turn their life around, that hold themselves to a different standard because we set the standard and they meet it. Like, it's not even really us. It's not me that doing it. It's like Cobb come in and changed his life. We talked about him earlier, so I'm using him as an example. But he come in, I set the standard. I say, no, you can do this. And he met it. He did the work, not me. I didn't do the work for Cobb. Cobb did all the hard work. But the reason that he was able to reach that is the standard had been set. And when you set the standard, you'll be surprised at how even you guys that are listening, when someone around you that maybe you look up to, or maybe that they make you feel like you're worth something, like you're valuable, when they set a standard, you want to meet it. I have people message me every day like, Coach, I'm so sorry. My girlfriend come down, or my wife's down, or my grandma's over. It's like, I'm not going to make it to class. They feel bad for missing class. And I'm like, no, you got a life, man. But hey, let's don't make this a habit. But the standard has been set. And that's what we do. That's how we help people change their lives, is we have this standard and then we hold them accountable. They have someone to look at and say, oh, or a coach to look at, or somebody to look at and say, oh, well, he's going to be upset if I don't do this in the right way. Or it's like, we're teaching them accountability. And I don't think that's taught anymore. And
you teach a lot at that gym that there's not a word for some of it. And that's why, like, I want to see people. Some people don't deserve help, and some people do. You just put in a shitty situation with this, and people ought to want to help. They all want to be part of it. And that's one reason why I wanted to have you on the show, dude, is I want to see people to reach out to you, either to sign their kid up because they hear you and they're like, this guy is the one I want, either coaching me or my child. But also I want them to hear what you're doing for everybody else.
Man, I just, it's like I'm upset a little bit right now, but I just want y'all to understand that, like, I care so much about what I'm doing, and for it to be like maybe that I don't get to do it anymore, like it's one of those things where this whole situation makes me angry again, but it also makes me, like, I'm excited about maybe building some new stuff and doing other stuff, but I'm real worried about being able to do what I do because I truly want to change the world. And I know if I go out, and I write this down every day, guys. If I can change 10 people's lives and they go out and change 10 people's lives, I would have changed the world in 5 years. And that's really what I want to do. I want to make the world better than when I got here. And I want kids that grew up in conditions and stuff the way that I did, and like kids that maybe I am the only positive thing they see all day. I want to make sure that when they come in, they see a smiling face. When you guys see me, I don't want y'all to worry about my problems. I don't want to put my problems on you. I want you guys to see me smiling, and I want you to leave from my presence feeling better and energized and have a better day. And that's why at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Because I want you guys to hear me speak, and I want you guys to feel happy, and I want you guys to leave with energy, and I want to make the world a better place in that way. And I'm not just talking, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so uncomfortable in front of cameras and stuff, but I started doing the Coach Jimmy talks. I started doing the YouTube and the podcast and stuff because people need to hear where I come from and where I am so that they can see that it's just from showing up and doing the small things, getting up and being disciplined with your daily habits. Within 3 years, if you just do that, you're going to be a completely different person from who you are right now.
Dude, you trust me, they're going to get to know you. You ain't got to worry about shit going nowhere. Drop your social media shit because I want them to reach out to you, and I want you to make sure that I don't know if they'll listen to your Cash App and shit on here, but make sure that you have it listed all over your social media. Guys, y'all got to... I don't ever endorse anybody like this. I'm endorsing him because he deserves it. Y'all need to listen to him. Check out his social media. Check out his gym. Help his gym stay alive. Jimmy, drop this stuff and we're going to get the hell out of here.
Heck yeah. Guys, every single piece of my social media, even my gamer name, is Coach Jimmy _Tech. And Tech is TECT. So it's Coach Jimmy _Tech. That's my not my Cash App, but that's my
You got Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, everything. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, even Snapchat.
There you
go. They're all there. My YouTube, it's all the same. Everything is that. So
what's your Cash App? My
Cash App is # Tech Center, all one word, TECTCENTER. And that's as simple as it gets, I guess.
Folks, go check him out on all social media platforms. You'll see where men, women, kids just rave about this dude. He's a great guy. I don't do shit with jiu-jitsu or care about none of that stuff. It just ain't for me. But if I was going to, I'd go to this guy. Let's help him keep his gym alive. And City of Eastman, just so you know, even if he don't say it, don't be pieces of shit. Don't be pieces of shit. Do what's right. Do what's right, or get the wrath of me and my social media, because I don't get my pecker hard to fuck with you guys. Anyway, I love each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for listening to the Josh Terry Podcast. We will catch y'all next time.